Sixers, man, huge win. I thought we were going to get dominated that third quarter. Well, another rough third quarter. But fourth quarter came out scoring 48 points in the fourth, 20 points from Harden in the fourth. Embiid and Harden, I believe, second Philly tandem to ever go 30 points and 10 plus assists in a game together. They did that without Tobias and PJ for much of that game. So I got to ask you guys, was this our best win of the season? And another part to that question, who would you guys be more scared of facing in the playoffs, Milwaukee or Boston?
Well, man, I had the wrong guy. Remember I said Maxey, somebody had to score 35 plus for us to win that game.
Yep.
And I just knew you had to be better than average to go there and win.
You were close. You were one number off, Eric.
Yeah.
0 and 1.
Yeah. Do I think it was the best win? No. Do I think it was a great win? Yes. But I see it almost as a swap from losing the Boston game.
Yeah.
Because that's a game I felt we should have won. And I'm sure Milwaukee's looking at this game like, man, we should have beat them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would say the Memphis game is the biggest game.
Yeah.
That's out of the break. Because you go out of the break, the way that game was going, if we don't come back, we don't win that. Now you go to Boston and lose that game, and you know what I'm saying? It looks different. To me, it looks different. I think the Milwaukee game was a big game, but I would still think that coming out of the All-Star break, you know how sour things can get. Losing that game, they're losing to Boston.
You don't factor in who the opponent is, like someone we could play and who like a conference rival is?
No, because Milwaukee has already shown me they can go to the finals and win the championship. They've shown me that. We haven't.
Yeah.
So that's the team I already know can do that. So I'm going to judge us on how we play against Milwaukee in the playoffs, not in the regular season game. Great to end their streak, great. But that team also lost that game, went on the road, and won the game the next day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
not even 24 hours later.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like within 24 hours, they were winning another game. So
crazy.
It wasn't like they went on the losing streak now. And I would, as much as like Boston, we're 0-3 against Boston this year.
Yep.
I still would rather play Boston than Milwaukee.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Because I just think Milwaukee's a better team. I think they're deeper. They have a lot of guys. They've had injuries. They haven't had their full team all year. So now you're talking about 2 or 3 months from now, and that team's been playing together. They're gonna be different in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a reason.
They're both deep. Boston.
Yeah, they got a 4 or 5 game lead, and they have it for a reason.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? And Middleton is still he played reserve minutes against us.
Does the fact that George Niang actually shooting well in Milwaukee change your mind at all? One of the few
you've spoken to his assistant. Somebody struggled on the road shooting. There you go.
Yep. Trust me, I thought about that when I was watching him put it down.
I mean, I just think what Niang did is that's always going to be needed to win. Like you're going to always need somebody else outside of your key guy to step up, and it may not always be that same guy. We know that. Mm-hmm. So that particular night, it was him. So, I mean, he shoots like that. James was great. Maxey, Joel, they all scored. And it was still a 2 or 3 point game.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, we did lose Tucker and Tobias, but yeah.
Yeah, they combined for 5 points, those two.
Yeah, I mean, but if they're in there, then somebody else isn't. Maybe Niang doesn't play.
It's true.
So if they're in there, Niang's not playing.
7 threes, 6 threes,
6 of 8.
I'm just saying, but he may not. Then if he was doing that and he was playing, then one of those 2 guys weren't going to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true.
So it's not like they were going to play together. I'm saying that we've seen all year long they don't do that. Mm-hmm. Play all 3 together unless we're going small, which we weren't going to do against Milwaukee. Yeah, I think my thing is they got Middleton. If he's back to form as their second best player, and Drew Holiday is definitely good enough to play even, if not better, than James.
It's tough, yeah.
And we know that Joel's gonna get his, Giannis is gonna get his. That's even though they don't go head to head, they're gonna both be effective.
So you'd rather play a team that you deem to be less overall talented, but
no, I think I'd rather play Boston because I think Boston is more beatable in the series.
Oh, just as a team though, but like
yes,
what if? But we obviously match up better against Milwaukee, no?
Yeah, but I just think Milwaukee's much better. I think
so
they're better.
You'd rather go with the team that we might match up better, but who's just a better overall team, period.
Yeah, because I'm looking at a series and not just a game.
Okay.
I'm thinking about beating the team 4 times.
Yeah.
And most likely starting out on the road.
Yep. That too.
You know. It's Boston, I think closer. We gotta some catching up to to do to Milwaukee. That 4 games and how many games we have left? 18 or whatever? 20?
Yeah, 17, 18, something like that.
That's not easy.
No.
Making up 4 games.
We need to,
especially if you play that team again. You know what I'm saying? You don't beat them. That's adding a game.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. I originally said no to that best win of the season, but I think it was because one, how good Milwaukee's playing right now. I mean, that win streak, to beat them on that win streak at home, down by that much, when they were playing well, it wasn't one of those Bucks just didn't have it tonight games. Throw it out. They had it. They had it for a lot of that game. I mean, when I was in third quarter, when I was watching Allen just knock down anything, just catching and just launching them, I thought it was done. I know we have come back from a lot of double-digit games, but Milwaukee's not one of those teams like to do that against usually. So to come back from that, so to beat that team in their streak, to come back in that fashion against that kind of team at their home, especially after the last time we played them, which we thought this was going to have a little extra juice on it because of the whole ladder thing. It's just I that to me made it more impressive than some of the other ones. That the game itself might have been more impressive, but I think that the stuff around it made this higher for me, just because of who it was, when it was, where it was. That to me kind of
the reason because the Lakers went in there and beat Milwaukee on the ABC on the Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? They ended up still in 12th place. You know what I'm saying? So I just I just think that Milwaukee being where they are, now all of a sudden that's a big gain for the Sixers to go in there as a measuring stick. But that's where we're at. That's where we're at now. We're 3rd seed. And we beat the number 1 seed, and that's a big game for us to beat a team that's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no,
that's why I'm I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it from a standpoint of how the game was. I just look from a standpoint that Memphis game wasn't going great. Looked like we were going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
In that fashion to come back and win, because we know how coming out of a break can look. And then all of a sudden, all these sources start speaking.
Yeah, that's true too.
But
losing against Boston and Milwaukee in the same week would have been pretty rough too, especially when everyone was just saying that we're on the same tier as them. That also would have hurt a little bit too.
You technically are on the same tier as them if you're within a few games. You are. The difference is Boston went to the finals and Milwaukee went to the finals and won the championship.
Yeah.
So So the tier is about the regular season.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
they've proven they've gotten past the second round.
They're above us.
I'm saying they've gotten past the second round.
Yeah. And if you just look at our players and say, what have they done in their careers? Underachievers in the playoffs. So we definitely have that to overcome.
You said at first it wasn't going to be your game of the year for us. What was the game? What was the game you had a little bit before that? Taylor?
I had a couple. The Clippers game was awesome. The comeback for that one. The Denver game was awesome, and the Memphis game.
I think the Denver game was the biggest game for Joel.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and the Brooklyn game I love too. The one that it was almost a fight every 5 seconds.
Oh yeah,
because that was tempering their that was holding their tempers in check while winning the game. That's very emotional. Not the best opponent, but so when you factor all that stuff in, when I took in the fact that Milwaukee hasn't lost, since,
Milwaukee
hasn't lost since January 21st.
If we're being honest and we're being fair, right?
Sure.
Then the game in Orlando was the biggest when we lost our top 3 players and we went in there and won. Because we all said we were losing that game.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we beat the Nets. They had Durant and Kyrie. We beat them without, I think, Joel and Harden.
Yeah.
It's also big too.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of good games this year, I guess. But I think the whole Milwaukee,
the circumstances,
how well, I mean, like, dude, they haven't lost since January 21st. That's insane. Like, that streak, and to be up by that much, it hurt, man. That had to hurt them a little bit. Yeah. Kudos to them for coming back the next night and just taking care of business.
Yeah, I mean, that right there showed me that it hurt, but they mature team because they went on the road, and you know what I'm saying.
They almost lost that game. They were down for quite a bit in that Washington game, but almost doesn't mean anything.
What do you mean almost? What are you talking about, man? Almost lost, man. We almost lost too. What are you saying?
That's true.
We almost lost.
We were down most of the game. Say the same. You can say the same thing about us. We were down for most of the game, and we were almost lost. Same thing.
It's true.
Oh, and I'd rather face Milwaukee.
And you're basing that on because we beat them both times this year? Is that why you're basing that on?
Yeah, I feel like our confidence level in general going into a series against them will be higher.
Why?
I mean, Joel publicly has said Boston owns us. When you have your best player telling your entire world that a team owns you going into a series against that team, it's not very good. It's not very high.
Boston owns us. We ain't talking about going past the second round then, because that's what we're gonna play in the second round.
Well, one of those two teams.
No, we ain't catching Milwaukee.
Yeah, but Boston could catch Milwaukee.
You watched Boston recently?
Yeah. Well, we catch Boston.
Huh?
We catch Boston.
We need to because they own us. If they own us, we need to catch Boston.
Well, if we go to 4, then we would play Milwaukee in the second round.
So now we're going backwards?
I'm not saying I want to. I'm just saying it could. They're on us.
Who?
Cavs.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's another topic anyway. So let's go to the next
one. We say, go ahead, Mark.
What are you gonna say, Eric? What are you gonna say?
I mean, we can't be talking about beating Milwaukee and Boston, then talking about Cleveland catching us at the same time. Like,
we have a tough schedule. It's more than just Cleveland versus us. It's a hard schedule.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a topic.
Yeah, I mean, then that means you on the road the rest of the final, except for the first round.
Mm-hmm.
If the teams win,
unless some upsets happen, unless the New York,
I'm saying if the teams win.
Yeah.